Okay, everybody, like I promised, I'm back, going to be doing an update on the situation here in Japan a year after the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear radiation disaster. And I think in a previous video I mentioned that Japan is like the only country on the planet has been nuked 3 times, but I gave it a little more thought, and actually the fact is it's been nuked 10 times. Okay? Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then Fukushima is the equivalent of 8 separate nuclear bomb incidences. Okay, let me explain. You have 4 reactors at Daiichi, right? All 4 of those reactors had an explosion in the reactor. And all 4 of those reactors have spent fuel pools in the roof, or not in the roof, but like just below the ceiling. Huge pools full of thousands and thousands of spent fuel rods. Very toxic, highly radioactive. And those things are all potential bombs. And then the reactors, the cores are gone. They melted through. You had 3, according to the government, 3 official meltdowns. Actually, there were 4. What was happening at number 4, it was supposedly shut down, and supposedly there was no fuel in the reactor at the time of the incident, but it came out later that there was something going on in that plant also. But so if you take 4 nuclear reactors, the fuel is in the environment now, and there's nothing anybody's going to do to pick it up, buried, burnt into the ground. And then you have these pools up here. Each one of them are, every one of these, all 8 of these are many times more radiation than what was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and those bombs that went off. Like, this is multiple times that danger of radiation, okay? So, and this is starting to wake people up in Japan. So the situation is still pretty dire. And the people are still quite docile and mesmerized and hypnotized and tranquilized and having a hard time seeing what's really happening. But more and more people are waking up out of the stupid trance that they've been put into. It's happening. Here's a very recent article from the Telegraph. This is just a little background of, you know, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, so we'll go back and explain what's been going on step by step. Okay. The Telegraph, a major UK newspaper. This is from Monday, March 5th, 2012. Okay, this is the title of the article. Japan earthquake and tsunami anniversary. Japan suppressed key radiation report. They did. And it put a lot of people's lives in jeopardy. Japan's Science Ministry suppressed a report that predicted the release of radiation from the wrecked Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant in March of last year. 4 days after the great East Japan earthquake, Yoshiaki Takaki, the then science minister, met with senior members of the government and ministry officials and decided not to release to the public data from the National System for Prediction of Environmental Emergency Dose Information. The acronym for is SPEEDI, or SPEEDI, according to the leaked internal documents. Okay, they had all the information. They had the computer models that showed exactly where the radiation clouds were going to go after the explosions in those reactors. And they decided not to release the information to the public. Predictions on the amount of radiation that had already been released from the crippled reactors, as well as further radiation that might escape into the atmosphere, could by no means be released to the public, says the document, according to Kyodo News Service. Who are these people? Dated March 19th, the document predicts that clouds of radioactivity could be released from the plant and spread across northern and central Japan, including Tokyo. In another report released last week, an independent panel revealed that the government was drawing up plans to evacuate the 13 million residents of Tokyo, at the same time as it was reassuring the public that there was no reason to worry about the situation at the nuclear facility. Yeah, you can always trust what they tell you, can't you? Our leadership. The analyses by Speedy provided a worst-case scenario in which all 4 damaged reactors at the plant exploded, triggering explosions at other nuclear facilities. Yukio Edano, the chief cabinet secretary, told the investigation that he feared if that happens, then Tokyo will be finished. The ministry decided that the Speedy data should not be released, but that more general information could be prepared for the public, for the sheep. Don't want to panic the sheep and the cows and all the little critters in the animal farm. Don't panic them. Give them more prepared information. The ministry declined to comment on the report. The latest revelations are likely to increase distrust in the Japanese authorities as the nation prepares to mark the 1-year anniversary of the March 11 disaster. Yeah, I'll tell you, I know a lot of Japanese people. I talk to a lot of them. None of them trust what these clowns up in Tokyo are doing with this, how they're handling this situation. The latest revelations, I read that. Yoshihiko Noda, the Japanese Prime Minister, said at the weekend that no individual should shoulder the blame for the crisis at the Fukushima nuclear plant, but that everyone in Japan has to share the pain and learn from the disaster. Okay, there you go. What did they learn from the disaster? I'll tell you, the Japanese public are getting really hardcore training. This is the school of hard knocks. When you trust your leaders who lie to you, and you trust these big corporations who try to make you buy energy that is produced by toxic poisons that they have no control over, and that there are no designated spots to put the spent fuel rods at. I mean, this technology has been forced upon the Japanese public. The Japanese public have been docile and just going along and accepting whatever their government and their corporations present to them. But all of that is about to change very soon. Back at you later.